Hello everybody, today I'm coming at you with a very exciting set review. Today I have the UCS Jabba Sail Barge. This set came out in 2024 and retailed for $500, which is an insane amount of money and very controversial because of the size and set, or the price per piece ratio in this set. So full disclosure, I did buy this set used and fully built. It's got a little bit of at a discount, but that also means I didn't personally build this set by hand. So there may be a few pieces missing here or there. I kind of went through the instructions and looked over the set and it seemed pretty fine, but we'll be walking through this together. And this is the largest set that I've ever owned by a lot. So I'm very excited to dive into this. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. Since this is the largest set I've ever reviewed, I'm gonna have a little bit of issue trying to showcase it all since it outsizes my workspace quite a bit. I don't usually have my usual backdrop or anything, so we'll try and walk through this. But the first thing I wanted to show off is this minifigure stand. So it has a brick-built stand for all the minifigures. We can see Jabba sitting on the largest section right here. It's got a nice printed plaque here with the Jabba Sail Barge and all the details. So if you're really into like the lore and the nitty gritty, man, it tells you everything you would ever need to know about this. And as we go further down the line, we see the 25th anniversary plaque and all of the minifigures. There are 11 minifigures total included in this set. This is its own detached thing. This long straight section does not actually attach to anything, so you can set it up there if you want it in front. If you want to put it on the opposite side of Jabba, you are able to do so. And before we jump into the sail barge itself, let's take a closer look at the minifigures. Alrighty, so up first for the minifigures, we have 3 of Jabba the Hutt's henchmen. We have Kithaba, Vizam, and Woof. So these guys are all pretty cool. I like when we get some obscure characters. I really wish that the set would have given us a Weequay guard, but this is what we got. Kithaba here on the left is someone we've actually gotten before. This guy came out originally in the Desert Skiff from 2011. I can't remember the year exactly, but they have updated him quite a bit. They changed his hat up. This is now got like the pirate bald spot. They clearly changed up all the prints and then changed the legs from light red or just regular red to dark red there. And the new Kithaba definitely looks quite a bit better. The prints are fantastic. No leg printing on him. He's got a good face print here. Take that off, you can see the details a little bit better. He's got that Klatwinian, and then the hat here is just the pirate hat that we've been getting in a few sets. It's just molded or painted with a green bald spot up on top. On the back here, you can see the print on that a little bit better. He does not have an alternate head there. No arm or side leg printing either. Vizam is a new minifigure, a new character we're adding to the Star Wars collection. So this is pretty cool. I remember I had this guy's vintage action figure when I was real little from my dad. So it's cool to get this guy, I think, in Lego form. He's got a pretty cool torso print here, molded in that new like real light yellow, washed out yellow. I have no idea what the official color is called. He's got the sand blue arms there. He's just got regular brown legs. He does have the Nikto. He is a Nikto, so he's got the horns on his face there. Remove that hat, so you can see that a little bit better. And then flipping on the back, he does actually have some back of the head printing. It's not an alternate face, but it is some prints. And just a very plain torso print on the back there. For his headgear, he's just got this little floppy hat that we've gotten quite a few times throughout the various Lego lines. I think it originated from the Han Solo movie. One of the Corellian thugs had it. And then Woof on the right here is the most unique because I think he's also a Nikto. He's like a different species or subspecies of him. But he's got the horns on his face as well, and he's got a totally new hat mold there. I do wish it had some printing because I think that this section right here where you can kind of see the raised bit is supposed to be metal. So I do wish I had a little bit of printing on that, but it is a brand new head mold, so maybe we'll, or helmet mold, so maybe we'll see that in future sets for various different characters, although I don't really know who else would get it. It's a pretty unique helmet. He's got a really good torso print there. If you take that off, you can see his face print. He looks a lot like that one guy from the Resistance show. Cannot remember his name at all, but he is the same species as him, I believe. He's got no arm or side leg printing, and then he actually does have an alternate face, just a very blank stare looking at you. And you put that on, that's what he looks like with that. But that does it for these 3 guys. Let's get on to the next ones. Next up, we have 3 more characters associated with Jabba. We have his Daimyo, Bib Fortuna, we have a Gamorrean guard, and the man, the myth, the legend himself, Max freaking Rebo. So, only one of these guys is actually exclusive to the set, and that is Bib Fortuna. The Gamorrean came out a couple years ago in the Boba Fett's throne room, and Max Rebo is actually the exact same one that came out in the 2013 Jabba Sail Barge. Exactly the same. He has not been updated at all from that same mold. No new printing. I actually have the original Max Rebo here, and yeah, he is exactly the same. Mine's a little bit lighter. I think he's just, had more playtime and been out in the sun a little bit longer, but yeah, that is the exact same minifigure. So if you have the original Sail Barge from 2013, 2014, then you have the Max Rebo. This is not a new minifigure, but it's great to actually get him re-released because that Max Rebo was getting very, very, very expensive. So it's puts him back out in the market for people to get. Bib Fortuna here looks pretty cool. He's got this pretty sweet head mold here for his long tail. And then that does obscure quite a bit of the figure itself. This is actually molded in the hard plastic, whereas like Max Rebo is kind of in the soft plastic. So I thought that this was soft plastic too originally, and then I know it's actually hard. It's a little bit higher quality. The face print there, you can see he's just got his spiky tooth grimace there. He's got really good printing all around. I think they captured his look from Return of the Jedi pretty well there with his armor and robes. He's got no arm or side leg printing there. I don't think hardly any minifigure in this set does except for one. And then he does have an alternate face there looking much more worried. We put that on there, you can see what he looks like. The Gamorrean guard, again, is the same one we received in the Boba Fett's throne room, and this is a fantastic Gamorrean guard. They haven't updated the mold for him since man, I guess I should have looked up the years, but that original, not original, but updated Jabba's wave in like 2013, 2014. He came out in a couple sets, I believe, around then, the Rancor pit and the Jabba's palace. But of course, he does have some updated leg printing that the original one did not have. He's got no side or arm printing. I do like that the mold for his torso and head there does have a lot of prints on it. You can see even the button in the middle there, it's got some printing. Flip that, you can maybe see it a little bit better. Then all the straps and metal bits does. His nose and teeth are all different colors. This is a pretty high quality minifigure in my opinion. On the back there, you can just see, it looks exactly how you would expect. He's got a strapping in the fur. This is a great Gamorrean guard. I don't think they can ever up this one. Maybe with some arm or side leg printing, but I think that's a little bit superfluous because the mold and all the detail on the mold is pretty dang good. Max Rebo on the right here looks as beautiful as he always does. He's got this fantastic mold for his head. It's done in that soft plastic there. You can see he's kind of got like all his warts all over him too. And he's got his bug eyes sticking out. Flipping on the back, you can see he's kind of got like a bug sack. It looks very alien. He's molded in this light azure color. And then he's got no printing whatsoever around him. So that's probably what surprised me the most when I was looking at the minifigures for the set and realizing this is not updated at all. Which helps for the wall, I guess. Like, it saves me a spot, but I wish that they would have included maybe a torso print for his big old stomach or some arm printing. I don't know, just something to update this minifigure, make him UCS quality. So I think It's a bit lazy that they didn't add any printing whatsoever for a UCS character, but I am very glad that they put Max Rebo back out into the market regardless. But that does it for these three guys. Let's get on to the next ones. Alrighty, up next we have some of the good guys, and the only good guys included in the set. And I think it's probably a good time to point out that this set is lacking in a lot of like important minifigures for the scene. And unfortunately it is because they also put out the Desert Skiff and Sarlacc Pit to go along with this set for a very expensive $80 price point. So if you want to complete the whole scene, you not only have to pay $500 for the sail barge, but you also have to pay an extra $80 for the skiff and Sarlacc Pit. And in that Sarlacc Pit, you get the Luke, the Han Solo, the Boba Fett, the Lando. So it is kind of disappointing that you have to fork out even more money if you really want to complete the scene. I wish they maybe doubled up on some of the characters or something, because you know, these are the only good guys in the entire set. We have on the left here Princess Leia in her slave outfit here. It looks pretty good, I think. Pretty good printing. She does actually have dual molded legs, which is kind of cool to see. I'm not even going to get into the controversy around that. Like, y'all are some freaking gooners over here. But she has been updated quite a bit from her original look here. Most notably, the original one does not have the dual molded legs, and then the updated one has different hairpiece. This one has the hair in the back, whereas this one has the braid draping around the front. It does have some prints with the golden, the brooch. And then she does have a clip here for the chain that would go around here. And so also the minifigures all have various weapons and accessories, but they are within the sail barge themselves, so we'll take a look at those later. Princess Leia has an alternate head there, and if I remove, or alternate face I should say, if I remove the head, we can take this clip off and you can see the back printing a little bit better, and that looks pretty good. Pretty solid prints all around on the Princess Leia. In the middle here we have C-3PO. Hey, future Emperor Nacho here. Remember how I said in the beginning where I didn't buy this set new, I got it used? Well, apparently the C-3PO I have did not originally come with this set. This is the actual C-3PO from the Jabba Sail Barge. You can see that it does not have the dual molded leg there. So yeah, this C-3PO is pretty good, but it makes what I thought was a pretty good minifigure to include in the Sail Barge a much worse one, because it does not have that added extra detail in a UCS set. But anytime I ever mention that anywhere else in the video, just know I got that wrong. And yeah, we'll hop right back into it. Last minifigure here, well, not last minifigure, but the last one we're looking at in this section, we have R2-D2. And this is the exact same R2 that we've gotten in various different sets, probably like upwards of 20, 30 sets at this point. Except he does have this 2x4 dark tan plate here, and it puts all the serving drinks, so it does have those cups there with dual molded stuff to make it look like there's some liquid in there. On the back here, he does actually have that back printing, so I think that does make him a little more rare. Well, this minifigure itself is exclusive to the set because of these additions to it. But just this back printing, if you remove that, I believe has only been released in maybe 1 or 2 other sets, I think. Don't quote me on that. But this is a pretty good minifigure. I mean, it's just R2 with drinks on his head. It fits the scene pretty well because this is what we got in the movie. But that does it for these 3 guys. Let's get on to the last 2. Alrighty, for the last 2 minifigures, I saved it for maybe the most important to the scene. We have Jabba the Hutt, and then of course his little buddy Salacious Crumb. So the sail barge could not be complete without these 2 guys, so it's fantastic. So we haven't gotten a Jabba or Salacious Crumb since that like Return of the Jedi wave back in 2014. So both of these minifigures are new, updated. It's like Salacious Crumb, if you want to see, it's the exact same mold, but they changed up his printing, particularly around the eyes. They changed the color of his hair a little bit as well. But the Salacious Crumb, he's got these you know, dead eyes, it looks like. I don't know how I feel about those, but I think it does actually look better than the original Salacious Crumb, who kind of just looks real funky there. So I think these are actually just like bull's eyes too. It's not colored in. But yeah, so this Salacious Crumb looks pretty good in my opinion. I do like him quite a bit. They nailed him on the mold there originally. There's no need to update that mold. So I would love to get more, what are these called, like monkey lizards? More of these monkey lizards in various different sets, maybe with a Hondo, because he's always palling around. And on that note, we could use an updated Hondo too. He's in like so many, Star Wars things, and we've got one version of Hondo from the Clone Wars. But yeah, that's Salacious Crumb. And then Jabba the Hutt is fantastic looking. This is the mold that they used back in 2013, 2014. They haven't updated that, but they have updated his printing quite a bit. He's got all these wrinkles in his stomach and along his leg there. You can see he does have a tattoo on his arm, which is pretty cool. On the back, you can see more of the fat print, because that's what it's supposed to represent, is all his fat rolls going around. And this is definitely the best Jabba that they have released. And even his eyes here look super detailed with various different lining for the pupils and whatnot. This does come off like so. It's just connected with a peg, so you can see what that looks like underneath there. And it does have trouble connecting because it just has this. So if you want to connect it, you need like a bunch of tiles underneath it and a single stud, almost exactly like what they did for the plate there. That's how you would actually connect them to anything. But this is a great Jabba the Hutt. And that does it for the minifigures. Let's get on to the actual sail barge itself. So just running through a quick facade shot of the sail barge, you can see all the little detail that they included on the sides here. A lot of just plates attached to, or a lot of tiles attached to plates. So not super, great, I think. I think it would have benefited from some stickering or printing, ideally. But this does look good. I mean, it looks like the sail barge, right? You can't complain. Here we have kind of, where in-universe Jabba and all his guests would be kind of looking out these graded windows. Obviously, in the actual set, you can't see through that yourself. It does have these stabilizers that can go in and out and is also on a ball hinge there, so you can go up and down however you want. Sorry about that. There's some stickers that attaches to that, so no printing. And then it's got some nice shaping, uses some great piece choices, particularly with this wand here to give it some extra detailing. And then continuing along the back here, you can see pretty much the exact same thing. You have a big flat area here. I'm not quite sure what that actually is in universe, but that is there, adds a couple extra inches to the length of the actual set. And then if we continue along the back side here, it is pretty much identical to what we see on the other side. So just complete mirrored image. And then on the front here, they do get this nice angle and wraparound curve for the front here of the sail barge. So I think Lego did a really good job on that side right there. That looks really good. And then attempting to show you what the actual sail barge itself is standing on, because it is a little bit difficult to get under there. It does have these black stands that gives it great support. I mean, this thing isn't going anywhere, so that's done very well. And then you can also see some of the extra detail on the undercarriage of the sail barge itself. They use a lot of this graded piece here and then some angled tiles just to give it a little extra texture, a little extra, detail and greebling that, you don't normally see. So it's a nice little addition in my opinion. Now I do want to go top to bottom from the sail barge, but before I do that, I do want to show you how this opens. So there are 3 panels on each of these and they just swing open like so. This one right here is attached via a couple of these peg holes and they slot into these rubber Technic pieces right there. I set that back down. And then these ones are just pure friction. They just flip down. There's nothing attaching them besides the hinges on the bottom of there. And just so you can see a closer look, it's very simple. And it holds in pretty well just by gravity and friction, a little surprise there. And then, little sneak peek of what's inside there. We'll take a deeper dive, but first, let me set up here and we'll take a look at the deck. So if you want to remove the deck like I do to show you guys everything on the inside, we just simply lift this up and it is attached by gravity. There are no actual attachments there. It does use these little pieces here that it slots into to kind of give it a little extra. So you can kind of see right there, it just falls into place there. Gives it a little extra stability. And then the upper deck here, you do actually have to take the panels off of both sides because it is slotted in there. And then just like the front deck there, it just lifts off like gravity. So this one actually is locked in place through those peg holes right there. So a little more secure, but I haven't had any issue with them falling open or anything like that. But let's go take a look at the actual decks themselves. Now with the upper deck detached, we can kind of take a little bit of a closer look here. You do get these two very nice cloth sails. These look really, really good. I have the original sail barge from 2007 and the actual sails themselves did not hold up very well. It didn't survive our childhood, unfortunately, but these ones definitely seem to be at a nice, sturdier material and look a little bit better too, in my opinion. And if you want to get your actual fingers in there, it's pretty easy to, take these off. You can kind of see some of the detailing, and the sails themselves are just attached via a ball hinge there. And then the other one, same deal, like so. You can just flip that off and we can take a closer look. And this looks very, very nice. And I'm actually going to set this back on the sail barge itself so we can do a cool couple things with it. So be right back. Alrighty, and here we are with the deck attached back to the sail barge. And we can kind of see with the sails detached from it, all the open space that their minifigures have to run around. There's lots of places to actually put your minifigures, lots of peg holes and such. So lots of good little detail as well. You do get these nice little brick-built turrets here. I'm gonna detach my phone from the tripod there. Thanks for bearing with me as I try and get through this large set. We can see the turret itself, and it is detachable. So you get two of these on the set, and they can go, and you can put them anywhere you want. If you wanna try and shoot the skiffs or Luke Skywalker, it's a cool little place to maneuver those around. You do also get the giant cannon that of course plays a big role in the movie. And man, I remember this in the video game quite well, how, they're zooming in a little bit there. We can see that quite a bit better. How you use this cannon to blow up the sail barge and hit all the targets. And this one I think is done very well. Lots of great little detail that they pack into this, like the gears, and the turret itself even looks pretty decent. So I like that quite a bit. On the actual deck itself, you can see has a lot of great detailing, a lot of great greebling. Don't mind the Technic pins. That's where these sails would attach to. So for a UCS set, they do a good job, I think, of adding in the small details for what otherwise is just a very, plain area. So hats off to the designers on that one, I think. Just something like the whisks and the balls, the whips there that attach that look like wires, and even the railing I think is done very well. You got the bendable hoses there that attach on the pegs, because it's really hard to get these curved angles for the railing. And these don't attach, but I think that actually looks really, really good, even just like that too. So I'm very, very pleased with how that all looks. There is a little ladder there for your minifigures to realistically, hop up and down from the different sections of the barge. You got little steps there. And then what is really cool is that there are interiors into the barge, and we'll take a closer look, but you can see they actually have ladders, just adding to the realism. If you remember in the movie, Jabba's goons jump up from the panels to shoot people, and take that open. You can see they actually, have ladders included in there as well. Both of these do. So you can put a minifigure down there and have them jump up and try and shoot Luke Skywalker and all that fun stuff. So that is really cool, and I think one of the more pleasing parts of the set, in my opinion. But this does it for the top deck. Let's go below deck. Okay, so we have about 4.5 distinct sections for the inside of the sail barge. And first up, we have the command center, the control station, where the drivers of the barge actually are. So if we go in here, we'll try and work around the lighting constraints because it is kind of closed off. It's kind of hard to get some good light in there. But you can see that it does have some stickered pieces there for the console, if I try and zoom in. So a little disappointing that these are not, you know, printed pieces. I'll remove this guy here so we can see a little bit better. And I'll actually take that opportunity to take a quick look. Man, he's really stuck in there. At these chair pieces here. And these I think are pretty well done. You get a nice little backrest there and what look like cushions. I think the design for these chairs look pretty good. And of course, I really like the dark orange. I think dark orange in any capacity for Lego looks fantastic. All right, so, and then if I take that off, we can kind of see, let me focus a little bit here. Sorry, having a tough time. Oh, I think actually, yes, we can swing that out. You can see the design on the other sticker there. And then you get a couple of other small computer screens and bits and bobs for the drivers of the sail barge to use. You do have a couple of sticks there to drive everything. So the next section going right is the armory slash jail cell. So you can kind of see you got a little cell here to put your prisoners on. And then behind the two ladders are the weapons that all your minifigures can wield. So I'll just take this off real quick, and that detaches pretty easily. So all the minifigures and the pictures and whatnot all use these various different weapons here. Yeah, you got your axes, your pole axes, some muskets, some regular blasters, and all the bits and bobs you need to use to arm your minifigures. There are some studs here to attach your guys on if you need to display them. So always good that they're thinking about, you know, where to put your actual guys. In the jail cell itself, it does have an opening cell door here. And then as I try and get in, it looks like it has some water leaking through and a bone there. If we remove this guy, I might focus a little bit better. And a single chair for your guy to sit down on. One cool thing that it does include is that there is a door here that does slide open. It is not focusing very well, but you can see, you get the gist of that. And the door does stop on this little peg here so that it doesn't fly out or anything. And here is what it looks like on the opposite side. Just a little knob there. So all the detailing for the door itself is on this side of it. And that pretty much does it for the jail slash armory. So next up, we do have the kitchen. And this is maybe my favorite section to look at. It's really cool, packed with lots of little detail. And it does have this huge giant staircase in the middle of it. This is where that big opening on the deck is leading to. But luckily, the designers thought about that and made it very easy to detach. And we can kind of see the actual staircase itself a little bit better. It's just a lot of that nougat color here with some small tile staircase and then a nougat ladder to get up top. But looking at the actual kitchen itself, you can kind of see all the little details that they packed in. They got meat, they got utensils, they got a green frog, which I really like, an olive green frog. Just tons of stuff hanging from the wall. They got herbs and spices. They even got a little stove there. And then here it looks like they, ooh, that's cool. Like I said, I didn't actually build this. I bought this used, so you can kind of see, look, there's some plates and stuff hiding in there. Just keep that off. And then there are some cabinets that open up in there. And on the side here are some more stickers. It looks like it's giving you the menu for the week. So lots of cool little detail packed into this tiny little space. And now that I've removed some of the trash cans out of the way, we can more easily look inside. There is nothing inside that cabinet. It doesn't open all the way, but in this one over here, the set does include some utensils. Kind of hard to see. There's a spoon and a fork in there. And then get my big old finger. That one popped out, but there is a little bone. So just a little extra stuff for your minifigures to play with. The next section is Jabba's seating area. He's got his nice big old cushion, and then Even his pipe there to smoke, which is a cool little detail. Man, I wish they had the little frog, frog holder that he eats out of. That would have been pretty cool. My one big complaint is that there's nowhere to put Salacious Crumb. This is just the cone piece from the stand that, I guess, he doesn't even stay up very well in there. So that is my one big complaint about that area. There's nowhere to put his little monkey lizard guy there. But if we take big old Jabba out of there, we can see this a little bit better. You can see the detailing of the back there. It looks like they try to mimic some wood carving, so they did a pretty good job of trying to add some detail there. Jabba is attached with just a single stud there. It's pretty easy to come off and on. On the side here, we can see another one of the stickers, and it is just a picture of Jabba himself. And coming on the other side here, we can just see a little bit more. So not a whole lot to see here because normally Jabba will just be taking up the majority of the room there. But on the side is the last little half area, and this is where Max Rebo does all his jamming. This does some cool stuff with the lamp posts here that are molded in the nougat color, so it looks like just some wooden posts. But Max Rebo does have a little music station here. He just kind of sits in there. He's not attached with any studs. Unfortunately, not a whole lot of detail in there, but he is just like a kind of like a Star Wars piano player. So, there he does it. He's got some stickered keys there. So pretty cool, pretty small. I think if I were to give one complaint about the set is that it doesn't feel like UCS enough. They try to add as much detail where they can, but they seem to be very constrained by size and piece count. And just case point by Max Rebo's little dance area. But I think the designers did well with what they were able to do with the piece count and everything like that. One quick stop before we end up here is we'll take a look on the back side of this area. And here we can see the back side of all of the detail. And there isn't a whole lot to see here, but there is some stuff. So over here is a crate, and this is where they store the chain that Princess Leia chokes Jabba out with. So there's that good little detail there. You can kind of see the other side of Max Rebo's area here. Over in the kitchen, there is this piece here. And I'm not sure what you do with this. Like, you kind of just poke out the plates, I guess. I'm not quite sure what that is for. If you guys know in the comments, please let me know. But that is there. Maybe it's a mouse hole. I don't know. But the one big area here on the back is the jail cell. If I set my phone down here, we can take this off. It is just attached with some studs there, and you can break a minifigure out of jail as well as see the piping just a little bit better that is attached to the jail cell wall. And then we can also see the opposite side of the command station there. And that pretty much wraps us up for the backside of the sail barge. Let's take you to the final thoughts. Alrighty, so that about wraps us up for the overview of the sail barge. So my final thoughts, what do I think of this set? Is it worth the $500 price tag? In my opinion, no, no, it's not. It is a UCS, it's got that UCS tag on it. So it is very expensive, but this doesn't feel like $500. Like, I think about the UCS Cantina that came out 5 years ago now. Man, is it that long? I don't know. It came out a few years ago. That cost $350, and that felt like a $350 set. This doesn't quite feel like a $500 set, even adjusting for inflation and all of that. It looks great, I think the designers got a lot of great detail, and the angling of it, they got all the hard to capture angles of a very curvy vehicle. I think the designers did a great job for that. The minifigure selection is cool, the minifigures that we do get is really cool, but we're missing very important named characters like Luke, like Han Solo, like Lando. And if you want those guys, hey, you're in luck. Lego put out the skiff, the desert skiff, to go alongside with the sail barge for $80. So if you want to get the full sail barge experience, you need to pay $580, which is absolutely outrageous. I think maybe I would pay $500 for both of them. Maybe, maybe on a good day. I don't know. I'm a little disappointed in just the value of the set. Now, design-wise, I really like it. It's maybe a bit small, you know, but I think design-wise, it looks fantastic, you know. I don't think that they're going to be able to put out a better sail barge ever at this point. So taking aside the price, I would rate this set an A, I think. I really do like the minifigures that are included. I like the look and design and the feel of the sail barge and all the neat crafty things that they packed into it, and the modularity. I guess not modularity, but being able to get your hands in there and display and play with it if you do any of that. So if we don't factor into the price, I think this set is an A. You know, factoring in the $500 price one, I would rate it, you know, quite a bit lower, I think. But unfortunately, that is the sad state of the hobby at this point. You're going to be overpaying for pretty much everything. And since this is a Lego store exclusive and a UCS set, you're never going to get this on sale, right? That is just not going to happen. The UCS sets never go on sale. Now you might be able to cash in some VIP points, maybe get, you know, ×3, ×4 VIP points at some point in the future, but you know, you're not going to be able to find this on sale. But without anything else, I do like this set. I enjoyed looking at it and collecting and adding it to my collection. And since I had the original 2007 version, you know, a lot of nostalgia packed into the vehicle. So I enjoyed this set overall. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you enjoy the look of the sail barge and all the minifigures included? And if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe to join the Emperor's Legion. And I will see you all next time.